Okay, well, we talked a lot about team, in both of yours and out here in British Columbia. But we also talked before a lot about labor. Talked about talent acquisition. And I know this is a big point of your guys' focus and how Victaulic is approaching it, how Victaulic has addressed it. Let's get into this a little bit.
Please.
Okay. Well, you mentioned it's been a hot button topic, and it has been.
Yeah.
I was on the island speaking to some of the union officials, talking about their challenges over there, and obviously the demand with the big hospitals coming up here. It continues to be a strain. I don't think that's a news for anybody. But it's been fun and a bit rewarding. The history of Victaulic, that's been our big approach, even back especially when we got into commercial construction, 50s, 60s, and 70s, was to shift risk and responsibility from the labor side into the material side and have an engineered solution that can meet the requirements of the job and the range of skill that can install that joint, myself included to some degree. It shrunk a little bit, the talent required for it. So there's never going to be a lack of need for skilled labor. I mean, there's so many applications where welding makes a ton of sense, but we're finding that skilled labor is, as you know, getting smaller and smaller, especially in the pipe trades. And so it'd be great to have them focus on those applications where they're needed and be able to shift those resources elsewhere. And we're able to allow one guy to do 5 to 10x of the output that he could do with other traditional methods, whether they're welded, threaded, sweat, etc., and to do it with a joint of confidence and training that's much more limited to a smaller time frame than the skill that goes into some of those traditional methods. So we've been doing it for years. What's been fun the last few years as we become more required to offsite construction, that's fabrication, modularization, things like that, MTRs. We've really lent ourselves to that application too. Down in the States where I came from, it was a lot of fabrication facilities. I would say they're a little further ahead outside of a couple outfits up here in terms of offsite fabrication, but they were all centered around welding when they did their infrastructure early on. And it's been good because it's a very effective use, but there's some gaps that Victaulic fills very well. And so it's been fun to bring not only what we've been able to do well in the field, into the shop setting and grow that aspect too, and really just alleviate some of the stresses that are on the skilled labor. Because again, the skill is dwindling, but just the sheer number, body count of heads is going down, and we directly impact that in a positive way. We want to continue to do that.
It may be a dumb question. Manufacturing and supply side, you guys take care of. Installation side, purely on the contractor, or do you guys have?
Purely on the contractor.
Purely, okay, yeah. Okay, there's not. So when you have a field relationship, it's purely just for. You're providing the material, educating how to, what you're currently using and how to train it. Yeah.
From a front end construction piece, we offer a platform called VDC, Virtual Design and Construction. So a lot of the larger contractors are engaged in some of the same things, but we'll get involved basically up front when the major equipment's being procured. We'll start to lay out the mechanical room, so they're really dense spaces with the heating and cooling. To answer the question on scope, that's our bread and butter, right?
Okay.
Kind of the brain of the building. We'll lay it out. We'll crop it up into smaller handleable pieces, so like say 12 feet long spools, and then we'll fabricate those ourselves in Edmonton, put them on a truck, deliver them to site. But the on-site piece of the construction is being done by the mechanical contractor.
Right. Yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. But you guys are heavily involved, and we'll get into more of that in pre-project planning and stuff like that. But okay, the talent side, the labor side, is Victaulic doing? Do you guys have any particular initiatives that you're doing? I mean, huge company, loads of people. In terms of getting to people earlier, attracting people into a different type of career. You came from general contracting and found your way into this particular field.
Well, I guess I could speak a little bit because I did come from a more unique, I should say, background from what Victaulic would traditionally hire. We're talking beforehand, the traditional sales guy we need, right? We need a hand-to-hand combat capable sales guy that can bring value to our customers.
Right.
But as we're morphing as to more of a project partner, which we'll get into, some measure of knowledge for construction is helpful, or teaching them on that front, right? And so there's a lot of avenues that we can identify good talent that can be capable of a broad range. Because a lot of general contractors, those listening, you guys know, you're selling every day, whether you're communicating with an owner, an architect, an engineer to try to accomplish a common goal of executing a project. Well, a lot of that comes with not only know-how of construction, but also some salesmanship and applied benefits value selling. And we're trying to execute that. On the early end, I'd like for us to honestly do a little bit more. Outreach is a big thing. There's some really good mechanical contractors in the this market who are doing outreach even as early as high school.
Yep.
To get them into the trades, which I think is great.
Oh, yeah.
From our standpoint, I think we could do more. Early on, we used to have I don't know, how long has it been since we've done the internship program, Corey? Do you know?
I feel like I was in the last one.
Yeah, because you were part of that program?
I think we're talking 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be a good one to bring back.
It would be. I think we're missing, and we're trying to find new roles as we grow. We have more requirements to manage these projects, manage our efforts, our proposals to contractors. We're looking, Corey and I, are avenues to bring guys in early for maybe more of an entry level inside support staff too, and try to identify talent that way and grow it organically, and give them exposure to all the different things that we look at. So it's a challenge, and I think it's something we should do better. But it's something we're working on, so no doubt.
So what's with the ramp? First of all, let's say you had an opportunity to do a grade 12, high school kind of, when you come out of school, here's an opportunity. Let's say you're able to do a presentation. Let's say, what would that ramp look like for what jobs are available? Let's say in Vancouver for those people right now. Like, what are those positions that you guys have a huge hole in that you need to fill?
I think we keep up with the sales, the outside sales side of things. Certainly operations, warehousing, things like that.
Okay.
They're always a challenge. And to be honest, I mean, we deploy. We have an internal recruiter who does a pretty good job, and we deploy a couple of external recruiters too that that are pretty aligned with some of the items that Nick just spoke about. That they line them up and bring them in, and they do a good job, I think.
Well, it's you mentioned the word internship, and there's other countries that get into schools sooner, or at least help people plan careers. And it's not just like, I think I said in the last one, when you go to university, unless you're doing like finance or accounting, you're kind of figuring things out in terms of your path afterwards, right? It's not as defined. In the same goes here, getting into schools or earlier education and being able to let people know, hey, there's these wonderful careers. You got a little hands-on experience. Come over here. The whole entry-level sales thing. It's always been a thing, but I think unless it's really spoken about more, or talked about more, or marketed more, people just don't know that they exist. But there's these great jobs in construction trades, working for a company like Victaulic, to be able to jump in, with minimal experience, but come into a bit of that internship or co-op style program, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think format, that's what attracted me to connecting with you guys, is this is a platform that is, I think, not used enough in our industry.
Yeah.
And you guys are great, not only the podcast, which is a great way to outreach, it's the way I consume a lot of my day-to-day content. We're talking on the way in some of the things we listen to, but also to show the range of outfits. I mean, even your company, SiteMax, it's not something would think about getting into construction, but the range of opportunities is growing. We're seeing it grow even within our own firm, whether it's technology-based, design-based, engineering. We have engineers on staff doing actual pipe design for us, structural. I mean, the opportunities are endless, and I think this is a good outfit to reach some of those folks that may not otherwise know. So I thank you guys for doing that. I think it's cool.
Oh, hey, no, we appreciate that, and clearly you guys you're crushing it in your area too, and we love that you're here and willing to share your story and your experience. But yeah, that's a really good point that you've made there. We talked about this again the last few episodes, is that there are so many more with the introduction of technology, robotics, just marketing, sales, things construction, just like before it was just like, oh, we're builders.
Yeah.
We get out there and we'll smash some stuff together. Not trying to dumb it down, but I'm just saying, like, there's a breadth to it now that can attract so much more talent.
It seems that there's this for individuals getting the pitch that I would say for younger people to sort of get involved is that we are now at this, it's kind of like an investment. Like your experience and how many years you've been doing something. Now, if you come in and you were to start in construction today fresh, and you just, reached out to an outfit like you guys, say, look, I want to get in construction, don't really know where to go. What kind of jobs do you guys have available for me? What I think is interesting is even if it's something, even with another company that's maybe in the field, these field jobs are starting to become cleaner jobs because of technology. And the investment that you make now within, let's say 5 years from now, is getting cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. It's becoming less of a a rough and tumble job and more of a technical job. And I think that is the part that I think is exciting. And those that have more experience of time on the site, time in the office, time with the product, whatever that is, in relation to construction, will have that better opportunity later. So I think that investment, I think if young people can understand that if I get in now, it's kind of like I'll be worth more to the technology, because it will become about experience running technology.